Old world blues is a term for those who are so caught up in the past that they forget about the present or the future. Old World Blues is the third DLC for Fallout New Vegas. It's widely regarded as the greatest DLC for the game. This is, however, not how I originally remember it, unfortunately. What I remember was 1/5 the DLC's time being taken up by a big opening dialogue with the think tank, and way too long spent in a high school. I remember not liking Old World Blues at all, but today I'm putting all my differences aside to rank it unbiased. It begs the question, was Fallout New Vegas, Old World Blues, as bad as I remember? Well, we start off with something telling us to go to the Starlight Drive-In, or whatever it's called, and seeing a midnight feature. It's a crashed space probe with a moving part, something you don't really see in New Vegas. You can't just click it either. You have to wait around for midnight. So, you wait around for midnight, standing there menacingly. Then an eyeball appears on the screen. You stare into it, then wake up somewhere else. Your brain, heart, and spine are removed. Don't ask me how. You have consciousness for some reason. I think it has to deal with an antenna later on, but I wrote this part of the script before I got to that point. Anyways, that I do not know. Well, you have a medical gown on. What happened? Let's find out. You enter this area with a pacification field on, so you can't just blast the people in the face and get the DLC over with, as you probably really should, as the brains in jars and the think tank will speak on and 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 on, just like the opening cinematic. It was literally 36 minutes into my stream by the time I actually finished this fucking dialogue. But before I could finish with this, they were talking about penises on my feet. The lady one was flirting with me. And they're all speaking through Dr. Klein. I guess it's an engine limitation. Dr. Mobius had the Forbidden Zone. It's Quirk Chungus Reddit dialogue. It sucked. I put more angry words down in the script when I just finished it. Anyways, I haggle for tons of caps and guns and ammo. A lot of it. It's not going to be enough, though. I get it, then go on my first quest in this long, tedious journey, the high school. What a great start. You have to find all 3 student records for some fucking reason. I'm not sure at all how this relates to getting sonic emitters, but whatever. You get those and burn through ammo fighting hall monitors and dogs that really don't do any damage to you, at least if you're in power armor. Unlike Honest Hearts and the Geckos, oh my goodness gracious. Turns out they created the Cazador. Fuck whoever created those. Genuinely evil. Then you have to do it all over again. Why? I don't fucking know. Run through it all again. You could also do the Gabe part, the dog part. That's mandatory. I said, but why would you do that? But apparently it's fucking mandatory because I'm going to have to go back to it later. I run on home to the sink again, which is the name of the player home for whatever reason, to barter with the, oh my goodness, what do you mean he only sells like 8 bullets? I guess I'm burning through survivalist rifle ammo and melee weapons. Well, I see from Reddit that if you sleep 3 straight days, the stock resets. It doesn't do a great job, but it's fine enough, I guess. I leave the sink to travel to the X12 facility, where I face some guys in weird suits. I restock up on ammo after making use of my Shees glove from Honest Hearts. I pick up a plasma rifle, not like I'm going to use it, but whatever. Then the traversal to the X13 facility is rough, as there are night stalkers everywhere. Inside, I easily find the prototype. Yes, easily. I pick up the stealth suit and use it the rest of the run here. Too bad it burns through stim packs. I go back to X8 to redo the tests with the Night Stalker data. Yes, I have to run through all these tests again. After doing so, I go back to X13 to do the stealth suit tests. This consisted of sneaking to the same place 4 times over and over and over to upgrade my stealth suit. Who speaks to me every so often, by the way. She's not overtly annoying or anything, but it's just never anything great. Like, do you like me? Combat. With my stealth suit upgraded, I head to X2 to get the antenna. I lob robo-scorpions to death with this emitter axe. This is nice. It's fast. I go back to X8 to do Gabe's quest section. It exploded before. Then all the way back to the big think tank to talk to the doctors. The one doctor created Cazadors and swears they're sterile. Well, I have a 50 BMG explosive waiting for him later. Dr. Dawa is aroused by me, to which my robo-lover, Joe Beretta Courier, makes her hot and bothered. I'm not sure what we're doing, but it sure isn't good. She gives me spent energy charges. Nice. I get my first crash of the run here when trying to get into the sink. I get to redo all that quirky dialogue quickly this time around. And I also do a good karma section instead of bad karma, because I was just speeding through the dialogue before. I was speeding through it this time, but anyway, I move my way to Mobius's lair. Yes, Dr. Morbius has cool crystals, which remind me of the 2017 Roblox Egg Hunt. Also, when looking for mods for this game, I saw that there was a mod that made the crystals more crystally. Simpler times. Inside his lair is a giant robo-scorpion. This thing isn't very threatening, though, since my stealth suit allows me to hide from the beast. I enable targeting drones, which distracts it just enough for me to fire explosive 50 BMG at it from my anti-material rifle. Did you know that the base gun isn't enough to one-shot lobotomites? Anyways, I reset the generators, then hit it one last time to finally kill it.
Cessation of hostilities complete.
With it dead, I talk to Mobius. He's just some drugged-up brain thing who wants to keep the think tank inside the big MT, big mountain, big empty, haha, so they don't experiment elsewhere. There's also in the show, a little tangent, in the show there was the season 1, there was a thing with Big MT. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay. Well, he also mentions other visitors. Ulysses, perhaps? Anyways, I have no way of not fighting him, so I do. And my stealth suit burns through stim packs again. I put Jared Leto down and promise I'll see the 4th showing of his movie this time. I reunite with my brain, then I travel to the Y-17 facility to get the autodoc stuff. Then I make my way to the think tank, where an explosive round ends the brains once and for all.
Uh-oh. That's all.
I will not have them messing with my Mojave. No siree. Well, with the big empty, I guess it's now mine, too. Yes, it's mine. The Sync AI, with a familiar voice that I don't know from where I recall him. I looked up on IMDb. I don't recall him from anywhere, but he sounds familiar. Calls me out on not exploring much of Big MT. Of course I wasn't going to. This place is nothing but hostels and emptiness. Man, okay. The DLC here, vibes aren't nearly as great as Honest Hearts. It felt like the worst of the base game. I did like the small map size combined with the circular design making traversal incredibly easy. It's a big step above Honest Hearts in that regard. Other vibes include this Fallout science stuff that I wasn't ever truly a fan of. If you see in the Automaton DLC for Fallout 4, I don't particularly like it. It's overly brainy, and I find that disgusting. It's just not great, honestly. If that's your cup of tea, then sure, whatever, but it's not mine. And I doubt it's the opinion of the average Joe either. Where it lacks, however, is a lack of really anything interesting going on. The tests it has you perform, mandatorily, are mundane at best. Asinine, I had to run through the high school one 4 times. And the stealth suit one was also horrific as it got more and more difficult as it went. The rest of the DLC wasn't much to mull over either. Why a whole 1/5 of the length was dedicated to the think tank's original dialogue sequence combined with another good 1/5 spent on them again, Mobius, and your brain makes a lot of old world blues trivial. It makes me feel blue, alright. Old world blues. Longing for a time when I didn't spend the entire DLC in dialogue or running silly tests or getting jumped by night stalkers or cyber dogs or lobotomites. Man, I hated that high school the first time around and this time around. That's what I remember of it. The high school. Anyways, there's nothing really interesting this time around in terms of side stories, like the Father of the Caves and Honest Hearts. The dog Gabe was a developer's dead dog, which is all about I could really think of. From the average person's perspective, this DLC is not fantastical. Sure, there's Ulysses in here and characters from Dead Money, but is the average person really going to stumble across them naturally? I guess it's nice to have it, but it's barely noticeable if you don't overtly explore everything or don't look it up online. So I wouldn't say Old World Blues is the greatest DLC for New to Vegas, no. But I certainly had a bit more fun this time around. And the highs, I think, were higher than in Honest Hearts. But the lows are much, much lower. The story dragged it down significantly. Where Honest Hearts was aura and hype moments, this DLC had Quirkchungus Reddit dialogue. There was a Splicer segment, but that was hardly that engaging in terms of story, so no. Old World Blues is not the greatest DLC for New Vegas. But it wasn't nearly as bad as I remember. The end credits said there was but one path to go, but I disagree. There are two left. Sierra Madre and the path I must walk alone.